help you guide. Let the record show that all...
There's circumstances surrounding you.
I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program, to which I was denied access to those additional read-ons when I requested it. I made the decision, based on the data I collected, to report this information to my superiors and multiple inspectors general, and in effect becoming a whistleblower. As you know, I've suffered retaliation for my decision, but I am hopeful that my actions will ultimately lead to a positive outcome of increased transparency.
Have you faced any retaliation or reprisals for any of your testimony or anything on these lines?
Yeah, I have to be careful what I say in detail because there is an open whistleblower reprisal investigation on my behalf, and I don't want to compromise that investigation by providing anything that may help provide somebody information. But it was very brutal and very unfortunate, some of the tactics they used to hurt me both professionally and personally, to be quite frank.
I take it that you're arguing what we need is real transparency in a reporting system so we can get some clarity on what's going on out there, because there are many pilots in your situation, but we should have a way of developing a systematic inventory of all of such encounters. Is that right?
Yes, and I think we need both transparency and the reporting. We have the reporting, but we need to make sure that information can be promulgated to commercial aviation as well as the rest of the populace.
What about you? What was your experience after you came forward?
Well, it's only been about 2 months or so I guess my experience has been overwhelming support from former colleagues of mine that have privately messaged me, and I do appreciate that. But I do have knowledge of active planned reprisal activity against myself and other colleagues, and it's very, very upsetting to me.
Coming from where?
Certain senior leadership at previous agencies I was associated with.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
Biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
All four of us, because we were in F-18Fs, so we had pilots and Wizzo in the back seat, looked down saw a white tic-tac object with a longitudinal axis pointing north-south and moving very abruptly over the water like a ping-pong ball. There were no rotors, no rotor wash, or any sign of visible control surfaces like wings. As we started clockwise towards the object, my Wizzo and I decided to go down and take a closer look with the other aircraft staying in high cover to observe both us and the tic-tac. We proceeded around the circle about 90 degrees from the start of our descent, and the object suddenly shifted its longitudinal axis, aligned it with my aircraft, and began to climb. We continued down another 270 degrees. We went nose low to where the tic-tac would have been. Our altitude at this point was about 15,000 feet, and the tic-tac was about 12,000. As we pulled nose onto the object, within about a half mile of it, it rapidly accelerated in front of us and disappeared. Our wingmen, roughly 8,000 feet above us, lost contact also. We immediately turned back to see where the whitewater was at, and it was gone also. So as we started to turn back towards the east, the controller came up and said, "Sir, you're not going to believe this, but that thing is at your cap point roughly 60 miles away in less than a minute. You can calculate the speed."
What steps do you think you have to be taken to improve a pilot's UAP reporting, be it military or commercial?
Right now, we need a system where pilots can report without fear of losing their jobs. There is a fear that the stigma associated with this topic is going to lead to professional repercussions, either through management or perhaps through their yearly physical check. So having a secure system, reducing the stigma, and making this information available through the public is going to reduce the concerns that aircrew have.
Mr. Grusch, finally, do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
And where?
I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General, and some of which to the intelligence committees. I actually had the people with the first-hand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the Inspector General.
How do you know that these were not our aircraft?
Some of the behaviors that we saw in a working area, we would see these objects being at 0.0 Mach, that's 0 airspeed, over certain pieces of the ground. So what that means, just like a river, if you throw a bobber in, it's going to float downstream. These objects were staying completely stationary in Category 4 hurricane winds. These same objects would then accelerate to supersonic speeds, 1.1, 1.2 Mach, and they would do so in very erratic and quick behaviors that I don't have an explanation for.
What astonished you the most about the flight capabilities of these Tic Tac, very briefly?
The performance. Absolute performance. It was.
And you're not aware of any other objects that anybody in the world has, in this world, that has those capabilities?
No, I think it's far beyond actually our material science that we currently possess.
Hello everyone, we are here. Here are 5 of the most memorable moments from the Congress UFO hearing. 3 former military officials told Congress Wednesday that they believe the government knows much more about UFOs than it is telling the public. With the sheer number of reports, whistleblowers, and stories of unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs, should raise real questions and warrant investigations and oversight, said Representative Robert Garcia. Here are 5 of the witnesses' main claims from the hearing today. Let's hear this shit. Government is absolutely in possession of UAPs. There's no way these guys did not reverse engineer it. And there's no way they're not using that. It kind of makes sense to why they feel comfortable giving away what we see as high-tech weapons to Ukraine. But that's probably not even the best of their ability. Like, not at all. David Grusch, a former U.S. intelligence official, told the panel that he's absolutely certain that the government is in possession of UAPs. Jeez. And this next claim is nonhuman biologics were found at the crash sites. Grusch, who underscored that he has not personally spotted a UAP, but he knows of multiple colleagues who were injured by UAPs. Jesus. He said he prefers to use the term non-human rather than alien or extraterrestrial. Bro, I mean, I understand. So he did witness something? Asked by a representative to substantiate the crash UAP's claim, the intelligence official said he could not divulge specific details. He did, however, describe the nature of what he saw. I have to be very careful here, but what I personally witnessed myself and my wife was very disturbing. I didn't know he witnessed anything. Okay. Here's the next thing that had to be settled. Officials must establish a safe and transparent reporting process. Agreed. If someone says that they saw something in the sky, they shouldn't have to be fearful of Will Smith and Men in Black boys to pull up. And I don't think they wipe memories. You feel me? I think they just like picking people up. Ryan Graves, a former Navy pilot, told the panel that military pilots do not feel adequately briefed on UAPs, which leaves them unprepared to respond to these encounters. He also claimed that commercial airline pilots have spotted UAPs as well. He says there has to be a safe and transparent reporting process for pilots, both on the commercial side and the military side, to be able to report UAPs. Yeah, it's not safe. You report it, you lose your job, bro. You report it, you get iced off. If you got recording, it's done. And the stigma, yeah, just like I was talking about, and the stigma associated with the sightings silences possible witnesses. Some witnesses and lawmakers at the hearing argued that the stigma associated with reporting UFO sightings, as well as the alleged harassment of those who work to investigate them, may be hindering efforts to determine their origins. Of course, this is true. He told the panel that the stigma silences pilots who fear professional repercussions, like losing your job, losing your license to pilot, you know? The Federal Aviation Administration has no mechanism for pilots to report UAPs, and instead directs them to civilian groups that are often dismissed as a domain of cranks and conspiracy theorists. Well, that works perfectly for the government then. This hearing will not be the end of this discussion, but a new chapter and start. We should encourage more reporting and more study of UAPs. The more we understand, the safer we are. That is true. Listen, man, I don't know. I feel like there's something bigger going on. Like I do believe these things are real, but the only way that these dudes were even allowed to talk, at least Grusch, like Ryan Graves went through a different path. Grusch came out of nowhere. He was on all the news places. I don't know. But here's the last claim. UFO spotted accelerating to supersonic speed. The former Navy commander David Fravor said he and 3 fellow military pilots spotted a white tic-tac shaped object in 2004, hovering below their jets and just above the Pacific Ocean. As he descended to inspect the sighting, he claimed the unidentified aircraft, which bore no visible rotors, wings, or exhausts, began to ascend and approach his jet. That's amazing. Favor told the committee that the technology he and his team encountered defies logical explanation. The technology that we face is far superior to anything that we had, Favor claimed. And there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing. Oh my God. Why would you say that, yo? Just in case we do get into an attack with these guys. Or with these beings. I don't know what they are. But yeah, man, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this. I don't know if I really trust it. Not like, I'll say I just don't trust Grusch. You know. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will be definitely keeping you guys updated from now on. Thanks again.